How many words do you know that are 7 syllables?
Not enough.
Not enough is right.
One more after this episode.
This uses 4 vowels. 4 of the 5 vowels.
That word is celibatuationship.
How fun is it to say?
There's nothing
Celibatuationship.
Celibatuationship.
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. I'm going to a summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, I love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drossbeck, co-hosted today. Back again. Back again.
Back again.
Third time on the podcast.
Third time in just over a year.
Robbie's back, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm excited. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, listen. Well, let's address the elephant in the room. To start off
What's the elephant in the room?
The elephant in the room is we've got matching hats on.
Yes, we do. We do have matching hats on.
Just living that life, Von Dutch.
Cult classic, but it's still pop.
Huge things are happening this summer during Brat Summer. And we obviously just had to
address the elephant in the room.
address the elephant in the room.
I didn't know what the elephant was, but we do have matching Von Dutch hats, and we got 4
Robbie
truckers.
Went hard on the Von Dutch site, okay?
I was on the Von Dutch site, and every time I added a hat, they gave me more free money, so I just kept adding Von Dutch hats.
Yeah.
To the point where we got 4. So we have matching ones, and then we each got our own. And I was in Wegmans today, and someone had the cheetah print Von Dutch hat on.
Okay, huge.
And I was
Bonding.
like, do I need to make another shipment? I mean, Maddie was hyped before Von Dutch got released.
Mm-hmm.
You told us that we should be excited
when
for the
snippet
song.
Was put on TikTok, I listened to that fucking snippet for... There's just nothing like it. When I heard the sound of Von Dutch, I was like, this is the song of the summer.
You said
Espresso,
it was...
Espresso, suck a fuck. Von Dutch
Okay. Okay.
is here, and it's the song of the summer.
I agree. I mean, I prefer other song. I like 360 the most.
Oh, I love 360
I like Von Dutch a lot, but it was when it, like, the week before it came out, you got us really hyped about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you, like, communicated how good Brat was going to be, how it was going to be, like, the pinnacle of everything she's been, like, you were very ahead of Brat Summer, I would say.
Completely.
I've known about Brat Summer since the spring.
Right.
Maybe even the winter.
Maybe even the... It was,
so
listen,
I think it was the winter.
It was February.
February, yeah. So the winter. I've known about this, and it's been like, oh, yeah, you can kind of see the future.
People are only now giving her flowers in the way that she's deserved, but Charlie's a beast.
Yeah. And also, someone else you saw the future about, Chapel Roan. Who I found out about last year when we first met, and now is blown up to... So it's like a moment right now where Chapel Roan and Charlie XCX are doing very well in the mainstream. And these are people that you've really been singing their flowers, giving them their flowers for over a year. And you got me to pay attention to them as well, and you were right. So I thank you. Thank you for that.
Huge. And now we have matching Von Dutch
And now
hats.
we have matching Von Dutch hats.
So Robbie hasn't been on the podcast since December.
Yes.
6 months.
6 months.
A lot of time to pass.
A lot of time has passed.
Except I talk to Robbie every single day.
We talk a lot. We now speak a lot, I would say. Whereas the first 2 times I came on, that was not
in December,
as
I feel
much.
like it was just starting.
Yes, maybe. I would say. Hey,
6 months.
Time happens.
And
6 months,
now
a lot
Robbie's
of things
one of
have
my
happened.
best friends.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
So listen, we're in it now, bitch.
We're in it now.
We've been to 2 trivia championships.
We have been to 2 trivia.
Robbie was last year.
Yes.
Huge. The only 2 we've ever been to.
Yeah, we have 10 or 11 or 12 wins, the trivia team.
I believe it's 12 now.
12 wins.
This season might be our best season at trivia so far.
Yeah.
47, 45, 43.
All above 40.
All
Which
above 40.
It's out of 50, so everybody
it's a
knows
really hard thing to
it's
do,
out of 50. And these are tests.
Only the best
and we're
teams
getting A's. We are getting A's on our tests.
So we've been
and these are hard tests.
and thriving at that. Robbie had three, right?
3
successful shows.
Oh, yes. I want to thank I came on the show in December, and I did not really. I had the love notes, I think, for the most part, that I had received, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do the show because I have all these notes, and I posted about the show with all my notes on my floor, and I guess someone sent it to my ex-girlfriend, who, like, my only ex-girlfriend, really, and she was like, oh, I heard that you're doing a show where you read love notes. I have something that you may want. Her favorite movie at the time was 500 Days of Summer. And so for Christmas, I wrote her, like, in the style of 500 Days of Summer, a recap of our relationship. And that's what I've been performing, which she found out about because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. I was going to come on the podcast and do the show. Like, it kind of all originated from me coming on the last time. And yeah, I mean, it ends up, I wrote her like a 20-page 500 Days of Summer. 295 Days of Tara is the title of this book, and I'm the main character. And it's not sweet. It's not sweet. I don't want people to be like, oh, this is so cute. It's not sweet. You've seen it. It's crazy. I see why the relationship went bad. I was very self-centered. I was also like embarrassing. And just like, I talk about being afraid to kiss her at certain moments. That is sweet. That part is sweet. That is sweet. If I'd never done this and tried to do the show again, I wouldn't have gotten it back. And prior to getting it back, I thought it was the sweetest thing I've ever done in my life. For anyone.
So maybe this was a bad thing that you got it back.
It's good.
Shattered your own personal perception of yourself.
I think it's good for me because I'm like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Because this was year one of a 3.5-year relationship. Yeah. That I got progressively worse. Stop. So it was nice to see how I was bad and sweet at the same time because it got, I think, less sweet and more self-centered. But yes, so thank you. That was fun the last time, and the show has grown. And thank you for giving it a place to start, which was here.
The show is awesome. If you guys are in New York, happen to be visiting or live here, definitely hit the shows in August and September. Before we get too deep into this episode with Robbie, I have a very exciting news for you guys, which is that we have officially decided where we're going on next year's international convention for Lover Girls. All right. The Lover Girls Retreat 2025 is booked. It's happening. And I can officially tell you a little bit more details. So next summer, June 2025, we are going to be going to the island of Crete in Greece. That's right, baby. We're heading on back to Greece. Thank fucking God. I am so excited. The official dates we're going are June 23rd to June 29th, 2025. Some activities that we've got on our itinerary: a waterfall visit, some historical stops, an archaeological museum, a jeep safari, some beach time, a monastery visit and wine tour, and a tropical islet cruise, as well as some more group bonding activities that I will be running throughout the trip as well. Pricing is going to be similar to the other 3 trips that I've run. The standard price is going to be $3,399, with the first 8 spots coming at an early bird price with a $150 discount. And again, this price does not include flights because anyone from anywhere can join this trip, so we're all coming in from different spots. My hope for these trips is just to build a space where people can show up as their authentic, honest selves and connect with a bunch of like-minded people from around the world to build long-lasting friendships. Friendship is like at the very core of everything that I hope for when it comes to these trips. So just know that my goal on these trips is to help facilitate connection. So if you are afraid of traveling with a group of strangers on your own, just know that my entire job on these trips is to make sure that everybody has as many opportunities to integrate with the group and make friends as possible. So if you're a little nervous, I'm telling you, don't be. Almost every single person shows up on this trip alone, and you leave with a bunch of new friends. And even in our downtime throughout the day, we've got everybody in the group chat like, hey, I'm about to go into town and do this. Does anyone want to come? I'm going to go sit by the pool. If anyone wants to come hang out with me, there's constantly people to hang out with, things to do. And yes, it is a scary thing to join a group travel trip with a bunch of strangers, but I'm telling you, it is like one of the best and fastest way to make friends. And I've just loved watching such meaningful relationships flourish on these trips in the past. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a Q&A about the trip over on my Instagram over the next week, really. The trip doesn't launch until Tuesday, August 6th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've got plenty of time to think it over, learn more. I'm going to link the main trip page in the description down below, which really has all of the information about what is included in the price, what the deal of the trip is. And you can add yourself to my email list on that main trip page to be notified when the trip releases. But again, the trip does not release for another week and a half. I'm going to talk about it many more times over all my social platforms, and I'll be reposting any Q&A answers that happen on my Instagram. I'll also repost them to the community tab over on my YouTube channel and the podcast channel. So there are going to be so many answers in so many places. We've got time to think about it. But good to keep in mind that historically these trips have always sold out on the same day they have been launched, specifically within the first 10 minutes they have been launched. And if it's not in your budget, which it's very fair if it's not, just know that I am also constantly working to think up other ways that we can connect as a community. Obviously, a week-long trip to Greece is going to be significantly more expensive than other ways that we can connect this community together. And I'm a one-woman show, so I'm not promising it's happening quickly, but just know that I am thinking about it. I am working on it. A group chat is coming soon, and I would love to, at some point in the near future, put on an event or two here in New York City, more local, and try to see what other ways I can set up spaces for community and friendship and connection among the Lover Girls in a more affordable way. And I'm so excited to keep figuring out new ways to connect the community and just bring more of you in, because it really is something special we've got going on here. And I just love you guys so much. So with that, let's get back to the episode. We have major things to discuss on today's episode.
We do have a lot of things to discuss.
That we've been keeping under wraps.
We have.
Locked up. But it's about to shake things up. Shaking up the vocabulary. I was talking to someone about some of the words they use on Love Island and how I feel like we don't have an equivalent for them.
Yes.
In like US slang.
Okay.
This to me is a word that doesn't exist.
It doesn't. I've checked it all over the internet.
A word that means what this word means.
It doesn't feel like we're the first people to mash word. People have been doing so much
and
of
it,
just
it seems like an obvious twist on a word that's already used that I was surprised that it hadn't been used yet.
Yes.
Because I also looked it up to be like, has anyone else ever said this?
No one else so fun to say. It is 7 syllables. How many words do you know that are 7 syllables?
Not enough.
Not enough is right.
One more after this episode.
This uses 4 vowels. 4 of the 5 vowels.
That word is celibatuationship.
How fun is it to say?
There's nothing
celibatuationship.
Like it. Celibatuationship. Of which I've dabbled in quite a few.
You have had quite a few. I don't know if I think I've had quite a few. My definition might be a little too loose, I think.
The definition, it's exactly what it sounds like.
It's
for those people that you don't necessarily want to call it a situationship because you're not fucking.
Yes.
But
it's kind of a situationship.
Other intents and purposes, it is a situationship. My
fear is this with the word is that guys, this is not actually going to happen, but guys that are like, think they're in the friend zone with a girl that they have a crush on are just going to be like, I'm in a celibate relationship. But it's just like, no, this girl doesn't, you're friends with, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between friends.
Friend being like, friend zone.
Like if someone has a crush on a friend is different than celibatuationship.
Completely.
Yeah.
there needs to be some reciprocal situation.
Yes.
It still has to be like in a situationship, there is a reciprocal thing going on. There's just no label on it, and it's sort of confusing what the bounds of it are.
Yeah.
This is the same thing, sans sex.
Yes.
So it is very emotionally complicated.
Yes. And it ends up being longer.
Yeah.
Because you don't address the celibatuationship. It doesn't get really addressed. I think we discovered that both of us have been in a situation where long time flirty, like clearly some whatever mutual attention, a lot of attention given both ways, a lot of talking both ways, flirting happening both ways, and a cuddle on a couch for a night.
Sure.
And nothing happens.
Sure.
Maybe just that's it. Like a spooning on the couch, maybe a little hand touching, and then nothing happens. And then you go back, celibatuationship as scheduled.
Right.
And we've both been in that situation.
Yeah.
That celibatuation. Many times. Not many times, but
enough.
More than once. More than once with different people. And yeah, we were going through like different ones. I feel like that we've had.
Well, I just feel like situationship doesn't give the full picture, and it doesn't often feel like I would never characterize really.
I kind of agree. I was thinking about this actually earlier. I don't really love the word situationship, especially how it's been overblown.
To what it is.
Yeah, because people just use the fucking word situationship to
like, what do you
describe
actually
anything.
Mean by
yeah,
that?
exactly.
What is the situation? Celibatuationship, however.
Even if it is just like,
it's
even if you're like, I have a crush.
You have a little bit more information.
Even if you just have
here.
a crush on like the barista, I'd rather you say that you're in a celibatuationship than a situationship. Like, all right, it's not a celibatuationship.
No.
But it's funnier to say. Because people are calling the most minimal thing situationships on the internet right now, and I'm like, I can't deal with.
Well, I just like, I don't know. You know what a situationship is.
Celibatuationship is like two people. You're kind of waiting for somebody to make the first move, and then it never happens.
It just never does.
Yeah. Or it does, and then it stops being a celibatuationship.
You've graduated to just standard situationship.
Yeah. But it's also fun. For me, there's like a lot of...
is like very much in like the will they, won't they.
Yes.
It's like, is the line going to be crossed or is it not? Or is this just...
Yeah, like there's something that is... Maybe it's like a friendship that you don't want to ruin, or it's like a work thing that you don't want to ruin.
What the hell? Ruin?
Not... like, you don't...
No, the way you're saying that word.
Ruin?
Ruin. Yeah, what the fuck was that? Ruin?
Is that not how people say it?
I've never in my life heard another person say it like that.
I don't pronounce the I. Ruin?
Yeah, ruin.
No, that's how I would say it. The word ruin.
R-O-O-N. Is that a Jersey thing?
It might be a Jersey thing.
I've never heard anyone say that. This is like everyone makes fun of me for saying rum.
Rum. You live in your room.
That's my bedroom.
So I rhyme rune and room.
Yeah, you go opposite
for sure.
way.
Yeah, I do the opposite way. Yeah.
Room.
Ruin.
Okay, wild. Anyways, back
that
to
you don't want to ruin a work thing or like a friendship or...
Yeah.
I feel like that's end up... But I've grown, I think, in the point where I'm like, the friendships get ruined anyways. If you're flirting with this person for so long, and you... Like, one time, I went to a concert with someone, and we slept in the same bed after, and we held hands and cuddled. This is elevated from the couch.
Listen,
this is not just the couch.
You're a lover. I can't believe you tried to brush it off and you were like, I don't know, I've done a couple celibatuationships. You were king of a celibatuation.
I am a king of a celibatuationship for sure. I did, like I've I guess gone out with people and then we do everything besides like penetrative sex.
Sure.
I don't know if that counts as a celibatuationship.
No. That to me is like far past celibatuationship.
Yes, for sure. We're making out.
Yeah.
I think if you maybe have a smooch one or two times, can it still count?
Question.
Like when does the line?
We're defining the parameters of what a celibatuationship is.
I also think it's funny to like. This is not the intention of the word or how we created it. I'm just
when we were
throwing out some fun usages. couple that's been together for a really long time does not clearly like each other that much anymore.
Yeah.
Clearly no longer fucking.
They
are now a celibatuationship.
They went backwards.
Yes.
They were in a relationship. Now they're in a celibatuationship.
I don't know what the fuck they
it's
have
just
going
more
on.
defined.
Yes.
I agree. I think that it
You know what
can
I'm
be
saying?
used in that way. Like you can be boyfriend and girlfriend within a celibatuationship.
Yes, for sure. Or married.
Also, celibatuationship, it could be like a play on situationship or relationship. We're right in the middle.
Yes. Oh, that's a good point too. Celibatuationship.
You're just involved with someone that you're not having sex with.
Yes. Yes. For
I'm
sure.
liking this definition better. It makes way more sense to me because I don't really like celibate. I mean, no, I love
situationship.
I don't like situationship.
I don't like it either, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we replaced it.
Yeah.
Because I guess situationship is like you're having casual sex and you're having trouble defining it, or people are not speaking up.
Ill-defined bounds of whatever
it is. Where the celibatuationship seems like you're at least trying to protect each other a little bit.
There's at
more
least a couple
care.
boundaries in place.
Yeah, there seems like there's more care actually than the way that a lot of people are navigating situationships, or it's just like harmless flirting.
Sure.
That you like flirt a lot, or there's some people that you just flirt a lot, and that's all that it can ever be or ever will be, given the context of the world or what.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm flirty.
But
I flirt
given
all
the
the fucking
question
time.
of like, can you make out within a celibatuationship? I don't know.
I think you can.
I don't think you can.
Not consistently. No, yes, I agree. It can be like
if it happened
one time
once and then it went back to, I think that's
like a drunk kiss like not like we're seeing
you can't
each other regularly making out.
Yeah, no. Then
it's past that. But you could cuddle. You could cuddle and you could touch hands.
Yeah, but you can't.
But it's rare.
You can't ever discuss.
It's rare, and you don't talk about it.
The deeper meaning for what that is. Yeah.
It's rare. Like the person that I'm thinking of that I went to the concert with and everything. There was like maybe 3 nights over a span of maybe like a year and a half where we end up laying next to each other. Mm-hmm. Kind of, we don't really speak about it though ever after.
Yeah.
But high school, from all throughout my life, I've had.
Well, I feel like I've had a few different, like the levels with which it was discussed.
Okay.
Because there was one many years ago that there was something and we never talked about it.
Never.
Ever. To this day, never spoke about it. But there was something.
But you did hook up.
No, we never.
You never hooked up.
We did sleep in the same bed.
You did sleep in the same bed.
A little bit of cuddling, lots of flirting.
And never
spoke about it. Ever.
That's a for sure.
We'll go to my grave never
ice
having
cold
spoke about
this.
With this, it was a friend of mine.
That's wild.
Many years ago.
And you won't speak about it.
No, well, we're not. This is so long ago. We're not friends anymore. But like that is one example. But I feel like I've also had other situations where the connection and us being more than friends was acknowledged, but it wasn't necessarily acted upon farther than that. Okay. There was acknowledgement in ways that it wasn't in the other situation, but that's sort of where it started.
So there's the two sides of that too.
But I think they both fall into the celibatuationship category because even if one was acknowledged and one wasn't, I still categorize them the same way.
You could feel a person's energy.
You don't actually need to say it in order to know it.
Yeah. For most people, for me and you.
Sure, yeah.
Some people might just be like, everybody's like, oh, clearly there's some tension where it's like, all right, there's zero tension. You just, that is not the case.
I also I like the introduction of new words to describe
phenomena that exist.
So that I can use them with my therapist.
That's nice.
Because a conversation that I have with my therapist a lot is sometimes I'll be like explaining a situation to her, explaining a dynamic, and I find myself like over explaining when I don't have an easy word to use to describe the relationship. And then I feel like it's almost like you make yourself feel crazy because you're like, well, I know we're not this, but I feel like this and this happened. And so this is the vibe. And you're like explaining your dynamic with someone without having a good word for it. And my therapist is always just like, just say you were dating.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I used to be like, everything is a relationship.
But it's not like a great term, because
yeah.
if I say that I dated this person, that has like a whole other set of like assumptions that people make when I'm trying to explain it. Because I'm like, okay, well, that's not the full picture either.
Yeah.
But like emotionally, I had the same experiences if that label was there or not. I'm still processing it in therapy the same way. So with my therapist, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But
she just wants you to simplify it in that way.
There just needs to be more words.
Yes.
She's like, I get it. You can just say dating because I know the situation.
Yes.
But when you're speaking to other people we just don't have enough words.
I agree. It's nice, like what you were saying about Love Island, like when you hear like another culture or language has like a mantra or a word for something that we just don't have in English. I don't have examples.
The one on Love Island that
what do you like?
Is grafting.
Grafting.
Which is when you're in some type of relationship with someone and something happens, some drift, some conflict, and they have to sort of like win you back. They have to graft you. They have to like butter you up a little bit.
Yeah. I like that. I was always just like, everything is a relationship. And we have to define it in some context. So it's like, you had a relationship with this person and this is what it ends up like that. Yeah. So celibatuationship is just a word to describe a relationship. But it's like, people are afraid of the word relationship. Yeah. Where I'm like, me and you have a relationship. Everyone has a relationship. It's like, all right, what are the specifics of the relationship? How do you treat each other? Like,
I agree.
It's
similarly though, in the same vein but almost opposite. I feel like sometimes like which maybe I'm foiling our own introduction of a new word by saying this. Okay. But sometimes I feel like all of the labels and whatnot is sort of like it's all meaningless. Yeah. Because it's like,
I think there's a lot of nuance.
Whether or not there is like a clearly defined label on something doesn't really dictate the emotional, like lived experience of that relationship. Yes. Whether or not you ever defined any of what it was or not.
Yeah. You have a definition in your head of like what. Yeah.
Because it's not really about labels at all. It's just two people. Sure. Also, it's just like so many people, I fear. Maybe I hear about celibatuationships more than I hear about anything else these days.
Because it's the tension, it's the will they want. There's drama in the celibatuationship.
Are more fun.
For sure. There's more drama. I was trying to think of like famous celibatuationships. Yeah. Like
this is a great question.
I was trying to think if Lizzie McGuire hooks up with the guy at the end. Does she ever? Is
Gordo?
That, can we call? Yeah, are they a celibatuationship? Do they end up together?
Do they?
Or all these shows where like they end up together at the last episode? Is it a celibatuationship then the whole show?
I don't think they have to end up together ever. The celibatuationship can still exist. If you feel that there was a vibe between Lizzie and Gordo, which there was throughout that whole series, that's a celibatuationship.
Yeah. Like Woody and Jesse, I don't know if they're a celibatuationship or they just...
Are they together?
No, he's with Bo Peep.
Woody?
Yeah, famously.
It's been a long fucking time since I've seen these movies,
I think he's with Bo Peep in Toy Story 1, and then in 4, they kind of have their moment. I don't know if you guys saw 4. She comes back. But I don't know if Woody and Jesse have just like a flirty fling or if they're just like respect that they're both in the cowgirl industry.
Siblings, actually.
They're partners in crime.
What is their...
But I was trying to think of famous celibatuationships. If you could think of any.
I think Lizzie and Gordo is probably a good example. Or like New Girl.
Yeah.
Jess and Nick before they get together.
Yeah.
Celibatuationship.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I would say so. From the second she moves in. Yes.
I feel like that is like that vibe is developing the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Until it becomes something else.
Which it would be fun to be like, yeah, I'm in a celibatuationship with my new roommate.
This is a great word, which is maybe a better, more succinct word for when it goes from like it's a flirty friendship, basically. Celibatuationship.
For sure.
It's
A
just more
mutual
succinct.
crush that you don't act on.
Right.
In a way.
This is such a good revelation, though, that it really is just the same as flirty friendship. Because last summer, I was slanging flirty friendships all over this podcast.
Okay.
Really pushing that it was the summer of flirty friendships.
Okay.
And now, celibatuationship, we cooked for a year.
Yes.
And now we made it to a much better pitch.
Flirty friendship
Branding
sounds lighter.
Way
it
better.
doesn't, I don't think, capture the tension of a celibatuation.
Celibatuationship is dire. The conditions are like, it is
more tense.
It is crazy.
How
flirty
comfortable?
Friendship is like.
Yes. Yeah.
Celibatuationship is like.
Flirty. Yeah. Once you spoon on a small couch, you're in a celibatuationship. Confirmed.
Yeah.
But flirty friendships. So you were pushing flirty friendships on the pod.
I was pushing flirty friendships
last summer.
I was like, it's the summer of flirty friendships.
Interesting.
Everybody get into it, which I sort of feel like this summer is also a flirty summer.
That's what you were saying. It's a flirty summer.
Is summer just always a flirty summer?
Well,
Thirst
last year we came on this podcast and we were saying it was a wholesome summer.
Yeah, I
don't know if I was fully on board with that. Sebastian was more on this wholesome summer moment.
Never on that vibe.
Yeah, I like summer is flirty, and it makes me flirtier. I would say too. I feel like I am more open to flirting and acting on my flirting in the summer.
I don't know if it's just like a coincidence though.
Okay.
Like I feel like when I have said it this year, it's because I am just feeling emotionally like that's where I'm pacing. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to do a little bit of flirting. I don't know if this is just, if it's a summer thing or if it's just like, well, this is where I'm at. I'm not dating. I'm not on apps anymore. Never will be again. I'm single, enjoying this, doing an alone period.
Yeah.
Processing, doing therapy, all these things. But flirting is fun.
Flirting is so fun. I've been single for 10 years, so people know. I had the relationship where I wrote this 20-page book, and that's it. And I've had celibatuationships.
Sure.
I've dated, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
But someone that's like a relationship or like meeting friends step, I've not really gotten to with anyone. So for me to be like, every summer is a flirty summer, it's like maybe not for everybody, but for me, usually so. I also feel like in New York, it ends up being more flirty, but it could be a thing of like whatever battery that's it charges, and it's like, all right, it's been charged for long enough, and then when the summer comes, it's like, all right, it's ready for me to flirt a little bit. So it could just be like a time. Sometimes I take breaks off from like, I can't deal with any of that.
I just feel like,
and maybe I'm just ready by the time summer comes around. It's like, all right, I usually am coming into summer off of like a long period of like nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like, so I don't know if you feel that way.
I hate summer.
I
don't want to leave my house.
Okay.
Like I feel like in the
interesting.
winter,
Yeah, because
when
I like summer.
everyone's like they're ready to like hunker down and like find someone to like not leave the house with. That's me in the summer.
Wow. Oh, I see.
Where
so
like,
I see.
I feel more of like an urge to be domestic this time of year because I just want to be at home with someone that also doesn't want to be
out.
Unless it's like I'm at a pool or something where I can be submerged in a body of water, keeping my body temperature down.
Yes.
I don't want to be hot ever.
Yeah.
So that to me is almost like you would think that would make me not want to flirt because it's like, oh, it's hot and sweaty
that's what I'm thinking.
gross,
Yeah.
and I don't like the fashion, so I don't even feel as good this time of year. Like I just hate everything. I want to stay inside and talk to no one and do nothing. But I do feel flirty.
Against all odds, you're going to be flirty.
Yeah,
so what does flirting look like for you? I've been told I'm very flirty.
This is feedback you've gotten.
By, yes, the men at my gym. Okay. No, a lot of people have told me I'm flirty.
Yeah.
All across the board. I've been told I'm flirty.
You have a flirty personality.
But what does what does flirting mean? How do you flirt? Does anything change? Like, what is being flirty? Like, is the hat's flirty?
The hat's flirty. Okay. I like that. Well, I feel like I want to challenge myself to be a little bit more flirty in person.
Okay.
I had like a flirty moment. I don't know if I might have mentioned this on the podcast, but there was some very good looking man that stopped me on the street a month ago to compliment my dress. And I felt like in like the brief interaction that we had, I like left that interaction being like, I wish I leaned in more.
A little more.
I like smiled and I gave him a good reaction.
Yeah.
And I was, I felt like I don't know, but I left that being like, damn it, I should have done more. Like I should have done the bold thing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, but I get too nervous to do those things. So I don't, even if I in the moment know that I'm like, I want to, I'm just too nervous. So my idea of like a flirty summer is more like me challenging myself when I have those situations happen to like say the thing I want to say. Not because I want anything to come from it, just because I want to indulge myself a little bit. And do the scary thing. That's it. It's just more of just like a challenge for myself to make sure I can do it.
Yeah. I just talk to strangers.
Yeah.
I try to make people laugh a little. Like you don't want to be like annoying and like I'm not trying to say jokes. I don't like jokes that much.
Yeah.
Jokes are annoying. Like real like something that's like a punchline or like I'm trying to make like a comedic premise out of my popcorn that I'm buying at the store.
Yeah.
But like you can just I don't know. I feel like I'm just light. I ask somebody how their day is going.
Yeah.
And then I'm a little self-deprecating. I don't know what I do to be flirty. I don't know. Smile? What? How am I flirty? How am I flirty? Because I'm apparently really flirty.
Yeah. I feel
and
like
I do talk a lot to strangers.
You're one of those, you just have like a flirty personality, I feel.
Okay.
You're just one of those people.
That's just because it's hanging
partially,
with everybody.
I feel like a lot of like funny, charismatic, outgoing people are flirty. It's just like a part of being a people person and like knowing how to work a room.
It's just you end up being a little flirty.
Yeah, I think you and Sebastian are both very flirty, just based on the fact that you are funny people who talk for a living. Yeah. I think that makes you naturally flirty.
Yeah, I could see that. I could also see some famous comedians being really bad at flirting that have got podcasts. I don't know how well Joe Rogan's flirting. I mean, Joe Rogan, I bet you could flirt.
I think if you go too far into like the bro universe of it all, then
some of those guys won't be able to.
Yeah. But otherwise, I feel like
you end up being a little flirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's flirty summer. I'm flirty all the time. 12 months out of the year.
It's scary though. I feel like I'm better at flirting through my phone.
Most people are.
I'm better at flirting
Most people
when
are.
I can draft a little, like when I can workshop it. You know what I mean?
It's a skill to be flirty on the fly, baby.
Flirty is.
It's hard. It is hard. It is hard.
I'm like, and that's partially because most of my dating experiences have been
originated online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close to all of them. Like it's few and far between. Even the people that I haven't met off dating apps, most of those people I still met on the internet. Yeah. I'm notorious for finding someone that I think is cute on Instagram and just liking their like 6 most recent pictures and waiting for them to DM me. It always works.
Yeah, it does work.
It does work.
I've fallen for that. For sure. It's flirty.
Tactic.
That's flirting. That is internet flirting for sure.
But I feel like most of the people, if I didn't meet them on a dating app, I met them by doing that, or they're people I have just like known for a long time. Yeah. But I've never like dated or I've hooked up with people I've known for a long time. But
yeah. But not dated.
No.
I also want to say I'm bad at flirting a lot of times too. And I really struck out with flirting in my life. I mean, recently.
What's that Aerosmith lyric? You've got to lose to know how to win.
And I lose.
And you lose.
And for sure
you know
lose.
How to win.
Yeah, I've learned But I lose a lot. I don't want people to think I'm
Okay.
just out here flirting and it's always going incredible. Like
Sure.
sometimes I don't speak. Sometimes I like can't formulate a sentence.
Sure. But that
was-
works.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't know.
It does. It does.
That's not when I feel at my
It-
best. That's when I feel like the world is crumbling and I'm
No.
like, all right, then you just think I'm cute. Like it's not
No,
my
I
personality.
feel like that really, because it brings you down to earth a little bit, and it makes you feel like you're like I don't know. I feel like when somebody is flirting and then they get like a little bit awkward, there's like a level of awkwardness that makes flirting better.
Oh, interesting.
Because if you are a little awkward while you're flirting, it like lowers the stakes and loosens the other person up a little bit because it like brings you down to earth in their eyes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It's like, oh, he's nervous too. Yeah.
And I feel like that works in people's favor.
That
Like
is-
a healthy dose of awkwardness.
Okay.
There is a line for sure.
There is a line.
But I feel like most people, if you're going for it and you're a little bit awkward, it's actually working with you, not against you.
No, it doesn't always go well, but
Sure.
I'm out here talking to a lot of people,
That's,
I would say.
yeah, it's all, I feel like what makes flirting successful is not whether or not anything comes from it, more just that you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Which is
where
good.
I'm at.
So I guess you got to talk to more strangers, which is hard. Which is hard. You need someone to initiate. I initiate almost always. That's
Well, you know
why
what?
I'm flirting.
The other
Because
thing
I'm
is
initiating.
I think I
the
kind
talking.
of enjoy, I know some people don't like this, but I like when people flirt with me and like it's somebody or like an environment where like it's nothing's happening here or like it's clear that's nothing and it just like is purely flirting for fun. Like I know a lot of people are not going to like what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Which is why I'm like, I don't always feel this way, but sometimes if like a man that's much older than me is flirting with me,
Okay.
that's fun to me because I'm like, it's obvious that this is not
Yeah.
anything more than you flirting with me while I'm in this establishment and then I'm going to leave here in about 60 seconds and I'm never going to speak to you again.
Yeah.
That interaction is fun to me because it's so low stakes.
If they're good at
Respectful.
it and not being like
Not a creep.
baby doll,
Right.
gorgeous,
That's
dear.
different.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I had an interaction. I
Yeah.
went to the tailor's to pick up my stuff yesterday, and there was I don't know what he was doing there. He worked in the building in one of the places. It's like the alteration place is in like a larger office type building.
Okay.
And I saw him when I walked in and he like held the door open for me and he said something and smiled at me. And then when I came back out, he like held the elevator door open for me and he much older, but he was complimenting me up and down, being like, I'm never going to see you again. This is so tragic. And I was like, it is.
I like that shit too.
You never know.
I'll accept
I might be
it.
back.
Yeah. You said that?
Yeah.
I like that too.
But it's like, that's
It's
just
fun.
like fun to me
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
like, this is so low stakes
Yeah.
and I'm just, this was just fun.
It
was
is
just
fun.
like sweet and fun. I'm like, thanks.
I mean, it is. You might as well flirt. My job is I'm like a lifeguard. Yeah, I'm a lifeguard and I teach swim lessons and whatever. Coach a swim team, but the lifeguarding piece of it, we're encouraged to not flirt, but be friendly towards the members. Remember everybody's name. Like remember a small fact about. That's like that is kind of just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta just flirt all day. A little bit light flirting,
Yeah.
like not like hitting on someone.
Sure.
Or making someone feel uncomfortable or like
Totally.
speaking to their physicality or something
But I
like that.
think
But just like
naturally-
be airy, remember something about them,
Yeah.
smile, laugh. That's flirting.
Yeah, completely.
And that is, I guess, just flirty energy.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's why you were hired.
yeah, that's why I was hired. It's a tough gig, people, and I'm good at it. Maddie helped me, spiritually helped me, and physically helped me. I did a show recently where I had to lip sync for my life, and I know that you're a director,
Sure.
a choreographer,
Been known to be in the
a
creative
director, a
position.
choreographer, a creative director.
Mm.
You
Can bring the drama,
can see what the people
the
want.
vision.
You have visions. You know what the people want.
Yeah.
You saw that they were gonna love Chapel Roan. You saw that they were gonna love
Plugged In.
You saw they were gonna love Charlie,
What gets
which
the people
I
going?
do the show, and I had to do like a lip sync for my life for Espresso, but also end up having to do a lip sync to 360, which I know all the words to because Maddie put me on. So I need to appreciate all of that, but it was, I had to learn all the lyrics to Espresso, which I did. I learned every single word in order, and I ended in a Speedo. I do this whole lifeguard bit where I and I was calling Maddie like throughout the week. I'm like, what do you think if I do this? What do you think if I do this? We're like going through all these little stunts I could do. I'm taking it so seriously because it was a big, I don't know. It was Matt Rogers, the people who host, or Matt hosts Las Culturistas, a big show that I'm a fan of, and I've been a fan of his for years. So like when I got asked to do a show, I'm like, I want to do a good job, like a good job at his show. Also, his shows are high energy. Like one of the first shows I saw that I really loved, that I was like, oh, this kind of informed what I want to do when I do a show, was like his I Don't Think So Honey show. So I'm like, I need to fucking show up and do a good job. And I was stressed. You allowed me to be stressed, and you were very supportive, and it ended up it went well. It was very fun.
Yeah.
So thank you. I want to thank you for that.
Of course.
But one of my favorite moments for the show was we were talking like backstage, Matt and I. And Matt's so extroverted. I'm fairly extroverted. I would say I'm pretty extroverted.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, for sure. And we were talking about, I was like, there's a war on extroverts right now. I feel like there's a war on extroverts. And
let's fucking go.
We're talking about it.
Our time
backstage.
is now. Introverts rise.
And we were talking about it, and it was war on extroverts. And right before we went on stage, we looked at each other, and we both mouthed to each other, and we're losing. And that is kind of how I feel a little bit.
Let's fucking go, people.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's true.
It is true.
And I'm winning as a
You
result.
are winning. You think so?
Yes, I'm hugely winning. I feel like, well, it's actually funny because...
Do you feel the tides have changed over the last 4 years? Since COVID,
yes,
the world has changed.
Post-COVID, introverts are on the rise.
It is. And with the extrovert, there's a war on extroverts.
But I will say,
it's real.
I do feel that I have been at least minorly influenced by my extroverted friends, because I have been to bars more times in the last year than I ever have in my entire fucking life.
That's crazy.
And that's you, actually. That's
me.
I'm blaming you specifically for that.
Okay. I'm fighting in the war. I'm not a soldier in the war on extroverts. I am not going down lightly. I'm not going to just allow the war to be lost. I can't. I mean, I like to go out. I definitely get energy, I think, from people and from groups.
And I like to stay
You like to stay
inside.
in. Which I will say
I
the
like
biggest.
to hang out with people inside.
Yeah.
I love my alone time, but I also love when people come over and just like sit and hang out.
I like that too, for sure. I feel like weed has really done a lot in the war against extroverts, because
So
that
you're
is
working
for
against
me.
yourself
It's working
here.
against myself. Yeah. So now I just stay in and smoke a lot, which is not something I would do. But I was also like out 3-4 nights a week. Even if I wasn't drinking, I was out.
Yeah, that's
3-4 nights a week for 4 or 5 years.
I do not have the energy for that.
Probably, honestly, 6 nights a week, like at an improv show or a comedy thing or like a class or like doing something after work out.
No.
Maybe 5 or 6 nights a week.
Even if I am going out to a bar or drinking like that, I'm going to places where I can still sit and talk at the bar. Like I'm not going to high energy places ever.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't. I wish there was a bar that would play Brat, because I want to dance. I like to dance.
Surely there are many places in Bushwick
that are just playing Brat.
For sure. Not
Somebody
that I
was
have the
telling me
most
it's not being
extensive
played.
in Bushwick.
Yeah.
No.
I want to go fucking get drunk and sing 360.
Yeah. Well, $3 Bill actually had another Charlie night literally this past week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't see about it until after the fact.
I'm sure they'll do.
But
Charlie nights will pop up.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially,
And
people hopefully will do Brat summer events.
Yeah. Also, definitely more remixers are dropping, and I feel like as more remixes drop, more reason to celebrate Brat Summer.
Yeah. That's what she said, right? It's just begun.
Yeah.
July 1st, Brat Summer has just begun. I'm plugged into Brat Summer. I listen to this. It's good. I like pop music.
Thank God.
I'm in the pop music game a little bit.
I put Robbie onto Charlie XX and he put me onto LeBron James.
I did put her onto LeBron James. I sent. How wild was his story today? Did you watch?
No, I don't think I saw it.
I sent you his story today.
I didn't see it then.
Do you want to watch it right now?
Yeah.
LeBron, I try to put Maddie onto LeBron because LeBron is emotionally online.
Yeah.
He's one of the most emotionally online people, I think, in the world, and has had to be for such a long time.
This is a huge stance that's been taken. This is why he's in the running for Loverboys Worldwide.
Oh my God.
The CEO
it's truly
position.
incredible. All right. I need you to just like see it as it happens. So you can click through. It's the last story. You can click through at your own. Because I feel this way too. I would never post it online. That's it. That's the whole story. It's just 20 seconds of him. I don't know.
Deep breaths, sweating, not looking at the camera, stressed out, presumably. Okay, he's hugely vulnerable on Maine.
Eyes closed.
Yeah, like because you know we have to have those eyes open to start the story.
Where is he?
He hit that record button and said, "Lights, camera, action, babe. I'm acting."
Oh,
now.
did you see at the end? Oh no, he zooms in at the end.
He's doing funky camera work. Listen, look at this guy. I know more about basketball right now than I ever have in my entire life.
He's not looking at the camera, but he does zoom in.
Yeah, listen, he knows exactly what's up. He doesn't need to look.
Yeah.
The fact that I was able to engage with my dad about basketball, ask him a question and be like, so,
yeah,
how the Celtics doing? I know the Lakers are out, huh? I heard those Lakers are long gone.
Nah, Maddie immediately bashing the Lakers as soon as she's back in Boston. Wow.
The fact that I'm
Fuck
like, I
the
don't know.
Celtics.
I knew more about basketball than I ever have in my life.
That's so funny.
Consider me put on. Saw Inside Out 2 a few days ago, and there was, this is not a spoiler, this is such like a brief moment in the movie. It's like a 2-second thing that happens, not a major plot point whatsoever. But at one point, there is the featuring of Mount Crushmore in Inside Out 2, which is like 4 of the main characters' most like prominent crushes in her lifetime, carved like Mount Rushmore. So I've been asking everybody after seeing Inside Out 2 if you have an immediate response to who would be a part of your Mount Crushmore. Because I went through mine with Ashley. There's 2 of mine that are locked in. Never to be altered. They're in it. Because they like my crushes and my experience liking, like it fundamentally changed me as a person. Altered the trajectory of my life. My 3rd and 4th slot, I feel could change as time goes on. They feel the most prominent right now. I don't know if they'll feel the most prominent forever.
It's kind of, all right, if you end up like dating or hooking up, can they still,
yeah,
if it grows beyond a crush?
I think a crush is permanent. You could marry your crush. You can be married to your crush. I think a crush is like everlasting.
Not all relationships start from a crush. I would even say that most of the relationships now don't start. They start from like a dating app or like you could obviously develop a crush for sure.
If you have feelings for someone to the point where you're entering a relationship with them, that's your crush.
Yes. I feel like for me, crush has always been like I have to be around them a decent amount. Like I need to almost be in a celibatuationship for a little bit period of time.
But if you were gonna date them, they would be your crush.
Like if I meet someone for a first date and the first date is the first place we meet, I wouldn't classify that person as a crush, I guess. Like crushes build, and that like for me, like a crush is like needs 3 months of marination before it could even be like.
Okay. Well,
especially for this
in this context,
this
it's
crushmore,
the most formative crushes
for sure.
in your life, the ones that literally like changed you.
Yeah.
And impacted you deeply.
There's one for sure. Who I still see, and we have never. This is a celibatuationship. A celibatuationship that I had in high school, we'll say.
Okay.
For sure. That would be one.
Mm-hmm. What was the impact on you? What made it formative?
I don't know. It was just like such a big part of my friend group. Everybody knew about it, and it was just talked about a lot, and it was just kind of like a punchline about my crush on this person. It was very public to everyone besides her.
Okay.
And I would talk about it, and it was just like everybody kind of knew the situation, I guess. I looked up to her. I would say more than anything, I like wanted, I don't know, she was kind of like a role model, I guess, for me when I was in high school. I don't think she would listen to this. I don't have a crush on her anymore. I do not have a crush on her anymore at all.
You're 30.
At all. I'm 30.
You're good to talk about.
But we see each other still as friends, and it is not that.
Yeah.
But that's one that I would say sticks out for sure. I had like a crush on somebody in my improv class that we would talk a lot. And she's married now, but she went to like Michigan for theater school, and she put me onto a lot of like, she told me to go see Dear Evan Hansen. She would huge, but she was also like this archetype that I would no longer really like that much, I would say.
Okay. I imagine your ex is a part of your Mount Crushmore as well.
I don't know.
I feel absolutely yes.
But we were just like, I don't know how much time I spent like being like, oh, I guess a little bit for sure.
Yes.
She's like my only person that I've ever loved. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. That.
Do you think so?
That's formative.
Yes.
Like the two.
But I don't view her as a crush. I view her as like so much more than a crush, I would say.
You're underestimating the power of the word crush.
Okay. And then I would have to put someone that maybe I would put someone just because of right now. This is super changeable. But someone I had a crush on last year that I also no longer have a crush on at all.
Okay.
But
yeah,
she's iconic.
She's iconic.
I don't know if she's iconic.
Well, she is legendary.
She's legendary.
Nobody can say if it's positive or negative.
Nobody can say if it's positive or negative. Maddie
she is an icon
did tell me last week, I fear I'm not a fan. But there's crushes about. So she's just very prominent, I'd say, in my life now. We don't see each other really, but it was like one of my first, because to me, like a crush, you need to be exposed to each other for a lot, and it's not acted on. For it really to like intensify, because that crush is kind of like, I don't know, that feeling of the crush, like once you're now making out, like it's something switches, I think, when you start to hook up. That still
a crush. It's having feelings. Crush, equal signs.
To me,
same.
Crush is like the anxiety of not knowing and the tension.
It can be
like the tension of like.
But I would
like when I'm at a loss for words. Like I'm nervous to talk to. Like I lose the nervous to talk to someone once we're like kind of in the
like
thing.
That.
Yeah.
But I someday when I get married, I will be married to my crush.
For sure.
That's the wording that I would use.
That's true.
I married my crush.
You married your crush.
And they're still my crush.
That's cute.
My first two on Mount Crushmore.
Well, one has got to be the person that we read his note. The thing.
Yes, he's
that's
number one.
That's gotta be. Yeah,
he's the first.
I was gonna say
that's
the first person I thought
because
of.
He was the
incredible
first person that I ever had like intense feelings for.
Yes,
and it's so I do love thinking back to that because it's so cringe, but it is also so sweet that I just like had so many big feelings that I had no idea what to do with. So I just told everyone that wanted to hear about it. Wrote it down, a list of 100 things that I liked about him. Like it.
I'm similar where I can't stop talking. If I have a crush, I like to talk about it.
It was funny because I went to the Bachelorette with some of my friends from high school like
Yeah.
a week ago, and they brought it up to me.
Oh,
they
really?
were like, because they were the ones that I read this list out with. They
Oh
were
my
like,
God,
I
that's
remember
so funny.
exactly where we were sitting. We were in Annie's basement, and we were going
That's
through
so
this list.
funny.
They would read me out a number, and I would read to them what was on the list of the 100 things I liked about him. Anyways.
They listened to the podcast where you talked about it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
So that to me, like a crush is like
That was like
in the anxiety. Like if I'm
first-
nervous to talk to you, then it's a crush.
But also, like, the reason why he's formative is not only just because of, like, how major he was at that time and how, like, deeply I felt for him at that time. It's, like, that was also my first, like, heartbreak.
Okay.
And, like, real, like, confidence knock.
Okay.
That I feel shifted the trajectory of who I was in high school and
I
set
see.
me up for future Mount Crushmore alum
Okay.
in college.
Okay.
It's crazy how it all connects.
Okay.
But I was thinking about how
Yeah, you told me. Yeah. I
When-
think I've heard about
when
the Mount
he-
Crushmore.
he and I, this guy that I had a major crush on in the 8th grade, he and I did hook up later on in life. So
Yes.
we're cool now. He's great. But
Confirmed.
confirmed. In the 8th grade, that summer in between 8th grade and freshman year, we were very flirty all of 8th grade. I had the biggest crush on him. That summer in between, randomly I was on Facebook one day and I saw a photo of him and another girl. It was up, like her profile picture uploaded. It was like a very dimly lit photo booth picture of him like on top of her, hugging her. And all the comments were like, finally, so cute. And I remember this was like this was a moment where like my whole world, I'm sitting at this computer like, no way, there's no fucking way. And I didn't want to believe it. I was like, there's no way. We've had this beautiful crush going on for the last year, and now who's this?
Yeah.
What happened to me?
Yeah.
And I had this moment where I was like, it pains me to look back on this now because it's a feeling that I've felt so many times since then. But it was like the first time that I realized that like no matter the like length of time or effort or amount of myself I put into something, some people were still not going to choose me. I could show up as like my best self and I still could not be chosen. And I had no,
You didn't know that was an option.
you don't get like an explanation for those things. Like sometimes you are just not picked. And that was
Did you
the
really
first
throw your
time-
hat in the running to be picked?
Yes.
Oh, he knew.
He knew.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so that was like the first time that I was not picked.
Yeah.
And that I ever had tried to be picked.
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
ever made myself vulnerable in that way. And then like a month later was when I saw him grinding with her at the school dance to In the Dark by Dev, which I've definitely mentioned that before because that was another moment where I was crying in the bathroom. And I remember him asking me, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No." But that was like a moment that deeply altered me as a person.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any other crushes to that degree.
Yeah. For sure.
Until college, really.
Yeah.
I had other little crushes here and there, but nothing like that. The second on my Mount Crushmore is the guy that I had sex with for the first time. First person I dated in New York. He was like all of my firsts. He is also my biggest demon. He is the worst person I've ever
you've told me he's a
dated.
demon.
But he is prolific. He has to be in Mount Crushmore.
Yeah.
He was the first person. Before him, I was so optimistic about dating, and I didn't. In my brain, I'm like, we're going on dates. That must mean something. Nope, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
He was the first person to let me know that sometimes it does not mean a single fucking thing. People can say and do things that mean unexplainable things.
No, people
on
just
surface, you
just
might
say
think,
shit.
well, when we behave and act a certain way, that means one thing. Some people just like playing house. And he was the first person that let me know that some people like playing fucking house.
Men like playing house too, everybody.
So stupid.
That is stupid.
So he traumatized me enough to get himself a spot in Mount Crushmore.
Okay.
My other two are the ones that I feel could be interchangeable. One is the guy that was the catalyst for my year of no dating. I actually don't have any beef with him whatsoever. I think he's fine. Emotionally, he has things to work on, or
Okay.
he had at that time. He shouldn't have been trying to see me in any capacity. He was not emotionally ready for that, and I think I just got sort of
Lover Girl, CEO of Lover Girl Worldwide.
Yeah, I just, some people are not emotionally equipped to do what they are claiming they're ready to do. He was definitely not.
Okay.
He was the person.
That's the annoying part, claiming to do.
For
Don't
sure.
tell me
And
this.
he was someone who, after my thing with him ended, he was the one that like pushed me into my year of no dating. And he was also the one that challenged me throughout my year of no dating because he was trying to come back in my life while I was doing that. And I feel like I had so many good reflections because of him around that time.
Okay.
He was the first person that I ever really made clear what it was that I wanted, what I expected, what I was looking for. Before him, I was so, because of the first guy that I mentioned, the college guy, so the second guy actually. Because of him, I was so nervous to say what I wanted when I was dating people out of fear of being seen as too much or like squandering my chances with someone by being too like difficult. And so I often I would be too flexible. I would make myself too available when people would ask me what it was I was looking for. I would be like, well, we'll see. I don't know. Even if that is not how I felt. Yeah. Because I wanted desperately to be chosen by someone.
Yeah.
And he was the first person that I ever looked at and gave it to him completely straight for what it was that I wanted and what it was I was looking for and like laid it out on the table.
Which is good.
And I've done it every time since then. But it was like, he was the first person, he like woke me up a little bit. I had so many good reflections because of him that have been like ultimately very healing and good for me. And he was the first person that I was ever like truly unapologetically myself in like the dating space.
Yeah, and what you wanted.
And this was
which is good
3
to
years
lay that
ago
out.
now.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 years, me
You've been
dating
very
in the
direct.
last 3 years has been totally different than how I was pre-pandemic.
Which is great.
Yeah. And so, but he could be replaced in my mind. I mean, it does sound pretty prominent right now, but I don't know if in a few years there's going to be other things that happen, like the prolificness of it all. You kind of just got to let it live in. And then
you're learning lessons. I'm like,
Totally.
I learned about Ben Platt. Mom, like, how
mine is like
deep
the ones
and
that like
intense
alter me. So that's why I
Yeah.
feel like my final two Mount Crushmores,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe right now it feels the most prominent to me, but that's because it's more recent in my dating history.
Yes.
In another 5-10 years, is it going to be as prominent as the first two feel? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
You'll see where it lands, what you grew from.
But I think Mount Crushmore can change.
Yeah.
This is my current Mount Crushmore.
I am measuring it on how nervous I am to talk. Or how nervous I was. I had a crush on my friend freshman year of high school. And we have a beautiful friendship, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And it grew to that. Because I was too nervous. I would, we would be really flirty, like passing note, like whatever. But I was too nervous to make a move. But this girl that I had a crush on in high school, and I still follow her on Instagram, and I still have a crush on her. I think I would not know what to say to her if I saw her. She's been my IG crush, I call her.
Okay.
For a long time.
Is that Crushmore worthy to you, though?
Well, because we had lockers next to each other throughout high school, and she was just like
what
too
were
cool.
The crushes that altered
talk.
you as a person, though? That changed the way you interact with people and dating and expressing your feelings?
Someone else I had a crush on, for someone that I got to act on the crush. It's all like high school. I haven't really allowed myself to have crushes. I don't know if it's changed the way I dated. I like my ex, obviously, but I don't even. We didn't have that long of a crush period. I think we just
are way too deep in the.
I like the celibatuation of it all. I like the crush of it all. Like, I like the tension, the crush. Like, I don't like it, but I think that is what makes a crush a crush to me. Is like the excitement of won't they answer, like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's fun.
That intensifies it. I was like a goody two shoes, I would say, for most of was sheltered. I was a little naive. I didn't drink until I graduated. I did not smoke weed until a few years ago. And I had a crush since middle school on someone that was just ahead of me in all of those things at the time, we'll say. And we hooked up for a summer. We made out for a whole summer. My junior year. So I started having a crush on this girl when I was in 5th grade. And then my junior year, by some stretch of imagination, we went to see Up. She gave me a hand massage the whole time. We don't kiss. That's cute. We build towards. We were doing like a triathlon together where we would just like kind of train, and then eventually, I think after like 2 months, we made out.
Okay.
And then we had that for a little bit, and I think I might have talked about this the last time I was on this podcast, but she broke up with me because I refused, quote unquote, to have sex with her. And I was like, I didn't know that was an option. Like, I didn't know. I don't know. I was like, making out was like where I'm comfortable. Like, we maybe did a little hand stuff and made out. And like, I did not make a strong enough move, I guess, a few times. Like, I was moving too slow for her, which is ultimately, I guess, why it didn't work out. And I wrote her a note that rhymed. It wasn't really a poem. It was more of a rhyming note. And she read it to the entire swim team on the back of the bus. And I don't know. But I always think about, I still think about my, I guess, high school crushes sometimes. And the lessons I learned from them. But I don't know. Really, over the past 10 years, I haven't had, because I think for me, a crush, I need to see them regularly. And there needs to be like communication that makes me nervous. Okay. And then like I'm like, that's kind of how I like now with the job
that
I have.
I think would be in your crushmore.
Okay.
Circa How to Save a Life.
No.
Yes.
No.
At least recent. That is absolutely who should be in your crushmore.
I don't think I had a crush on her. Are we thinking of the same person?
Yes.
I like was surprised by her wanting to make out.
Okay, but you were
like,
down.
I didn't think I was down for sure, but I don't think. See, that's what we have different.
You just need to like take it as like feelings.
Feelings.
Crush equals feelings.
See, to me, crush is crush is nerves.
Listen, I appreciate.
You know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate your specificity, your commitment to specificity.
Like, imagine if from 5th grade to 11th grade, you have a crush on someone, and then you finally get to meet. Like, did it feel crazy when
I had sex with him?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was. That's what I'm saying.
That was crazy. I was telling fucking everybody that knew I had a crush on him.
Like, what? The second you kissed, it must have been crazy.
It was funny. It was 2017,
it was way too many
and I
years
liked
after.
him in like 2010. So I'm like,
so similar. 5th to 6th, 11th grade. You were 8th to whatever.
It was so many years had passed, and I had when we hooked up, I did not have a crush on him, and there was no feelings whatsoever.
Really?
It was more just like
so then it wasn't as much
funny.
excitement. Yeah.
This is like nostalgia.
Yeah.
This is what my 8th grade self would have like died for.
Yeah.
My 8th grade self is like punching the air right now. If only she knew all those tears that she shed.
Yeah.
As I witnessed him grinding in the school cafeteria to In the Dark. If only she knew that all these years later
you would get it.
You could peg him. It would all be okay.
Incredible. No, to me it's the tension that makes the crush, but I see what you mean. All right, so just love interest, my Mount Crushmore in that way.
That have altered you as a person.
Yeah, that would be
in recent
my
memory.
ex, for sure. One of my 8th grade, like summer from 8th grade into freshman year. I would say that person that I was kind of like making out with. And then it would be someone from high school. Maybe the
So high school
the
was
person that
for you.
Yeah. A lot of crushes.
Okay.
Less crushes. Now that I have...
Not college?
No, I had a girlfriend in college.
Was it all of college?
Most of it, 3.5 years. So there was people I thought were cute at college. I had a crush on, like... The person that I had a crush on, I took to my senior year formal. Me and my ex were broken up. And I blacked out and threw up in the hotel room. Apparently we made out. I don't remember that at all. I would have loved to remember it. She's married now. Because I thought she was beautiful. She is beautiful. But not really, I would say, in college. No. I would
love to remember it.
And then not really, like, how could I have a crush? Like, I meet somebody through an improv class. I would maybe be exposed to someone over a long period of time. A lot of my I didn't date at all. I didn't go on dates, really, from moving to New York to when COVID happened. I did not go on a single date. Which was
you moved to New York
2016. 2014, I moved for a summer.
Oh.
And then May 2016, I moved for, like, pretty much good.
Wow. May 2016 is when I got my first apartment in New York.
Really? Oh, fun.
I came to New York
I was
August
on 28th and Park.
But May 2016 was when I got my first apartment.
Oh,
out
fun.
of the dorms. New York resident.
Where were August 2015. I was on 28th and Park, and you were probably not that far.
I was 88th in York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fun neighborhood. I guess. I don't know. I like that park, but...
It is a nice park over there.
Yeah. Carl Schurz. Yeah, it is a nice park. Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question, though. It's hard. Yeah, if it was love interest, then who you feared to not be a fan of would have to go. It's not a love interest. It's just a crush that's gotten a life of its own.
Enough. All right, I pulled a bunch of audience submissions. We've been going for hours at this point, though, so we don't have to do a ton of them. But as always, if you guys want to submit to the show, there is a box in the description of every podcast episode. And I'd love to hear the juice going on in your life. So please feel free to keep submitting. I go through the box every week. Hi, Maddie. I've been watching your content for a couple of years now, and I really admire your mind, passion, creativity, your insight, and perspective on everything you choose to share. I'm sending you this very long message because the last month has been pretty challenging for me emotionally. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 4 years, and we've been living together for 3. Although he leaves for the summer months for seasonal work. I am 27 and have been in situationships and in another long-term relationship, and trust me when I tell you that I never believed that a man like him even existed. He's so emotionally intelligent, unbelievably funny, so honest, he's an amazing listener, while also good at expressing his own feelings. He shows me so much love and appreciation and always stresses how proud of me he is. I'm like losing my mind right now. We've had endless, deep conversations about our pasts, our traumas, our experiences, etc. We've been through so much together. We love and trust each other so deeply. But about a month ago, I went to turn off his laptop and I accidentally opened one of the recently opened documents, which was a nude picture. I completely lost it, thought he was cheating, and opened the whole folder, which was filled with at least 30 pictures of nude women. I know he occasionally watches porn, especially when we're apart, and I've told him that I still don't know how I feel about him doing that. He never mentioned that he had a full folder of nudes of women, most of whom he has been with since he was 16. I called him out immediately, and after 4 hours of us talking and crying and me asking every possible question I could think about, him being so vulnerable and open about everything, I tried to understand and give him another chance. He assured me that he rarely used the pictures, but most importantly, he didn't feel anything other than arousal when looking at them. I asked him what turns him on when he's watching porn. Is it just the act of sex, or that he wants to fuck the girls that he sees? He said just the act of it. I asked if he fantasized about having sex with the actual woman in the pictures since he's been with them in the past. He said no. If there are pictures in there of his 2 long-term relationships that I know he had deep feelings for, he still said no. If he wasn't satisfied with our sex life, he still said no. If he wished I looked more like the girls in the pictures, he said no. He said he believes that he was holding on to the folder, especially during times of deep insecurity. because of the idea that some woman wanted him enough to send him nudes made him temporarily feel more confident, but at the same time, it always felt like something dark. He never felt good after using the pictures and believed that it was just one more way that he subconsciously would punish himself. He also said he had thought many times of erasing everything, and finally did after the incident. And he said he felt more free. He couldn't stand the idea of losing me for something like that because in his mind it had nothing to do with me. Of course, there are so many more things that were said during that conversation about family trauma, our experiences with patriarchy, and many, many more. I truly believe everything he said. I know his whole journey and recognize that this incident brought us so much closer and opened the conversation for expressing such deep things. But at the same time, I still feel hurt. Sometimes the images come up when we're having sex and I have to push them away. I know this feeling and these thoughts are deeply rooted in my own insecurities. I have really small boobs and have never felt that my body was sexy according to the beauty standards. I never saw women with my body being shown as sexy, and I know for a fact that some men from my past would much prefer it if I had bigger boobs. It's such a stupid insecurity born from the male gaze, but I've been battling with it for so many years. When in my 27 years of existence, I finally started to feel body neutrality and that I could reach a place where I could actually feel sexy in my body, it all comes back biting me in the ass. My logical brain tells me that folder had almost nothing to do with me and everything to do with him and his journey, but there's another part, the insecure one, that when I saw these women that looked nothing like me, just made me feel like shit. He is trying so hard to mend things, but I told him that I don't want him to constantly reassure me, that now that I have all the answers I needed, I just need to process things on my own. My girlfriends think we'll get through it and that with time I'll be fine, but I just feel numb most of the time. I don't know if I will manage to feel the same as I did before, or if I will ever be able to actually feel confident in my body again. At the same time, I feel so ungrateful because I am what most people would consider conventionally attractive. I just feel so stupid because I never thought that such superficial things would impact me so much after all the work I've done for so many years. I would really appreciate if you shared your perspective and how you think you would deal with a situation like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, when I read this, I was like, I've got thoughts.
I have thoughts too.
You might not like them. My immediate reaction upon reading this, first of all, as I was reading it, like my reaction changed so many times. I was first reading and it was just like finding the like unspecified nudes and talking about like finding what at first felt like just porn on his computer. My first reaction was like, who the fuck saves porn to their computer in the year 2024? Who is saving random nudes in 2024? We're saving shit in folders. What year is it? 2003?
Yeah, but
what are we doing?
People do that.
Who is doing that?
I guess people
I don't
do
know.
that.
That is insane.
They're classics.
To me.
If they love, I don't have
to
porn
save
saved.
it is crazy to me.
I don't.
So that was like reaction number one, and then upon realizing this is a folder full of nudes of women he used to hook up with,
that is to me the biggest red flag of the whole situation, and the fact that he's like, I'm not thinking about them while I'm looking at them.
This whole conversation that happens after
like,
that is like the fact that you have photos still saved of previous partners that you are jacking off to. I don't care if you're in a relationship or not. That is wrong. After you're not in a relationship with someone, those photos have got to fucking go.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. That's a violation of those other past partners. They sent you those photos when you were in an agreed upon situation. Once you are outside of that, to look back at those photos is really fucking weird and creepy.
Yeah.
It's weird to have a folder saved. I don't like that. That to me is like, it's disrespectful and it's gross. That would be one and done for me personally.
You would be out.
That's well over the line for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not even considering the fact that you're in a relationship doing that. Even if you were not in a relationship, I don't think it's appropriate to do that.
To save
old pictures of exes and masturbate to them.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's creepy. And to be like, I don't jerk off to them. It's like, what are you jerking off to?
Yeah.
You're viewing them. No, you got to let them back. You got to give it. You got to go. You got
to do it while in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, it's none of these things. I don't know why I do it. I'm sick. There's something wrong with me. Like that's.
Well, to be like, I'm a victim of the patriarchy too. When you do something wrong.
Yeah, I don't like that reaction either.
I don't like that reaction that much. like I can't. If I do something wrong, I need to take ownership of it, not blame. Sure, the patriarchy's involved. The patriarchy's involved all the time with everything, good and bad. Like, we can't just blame that.
Also, like, he's lying. Also,
he's for sure lying.
He's like, you asked him if he fantasized about having sex with the actual women in the pictures, and he said no.
That's why.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That is a lie.
That's a lie.
He wouldn't be. He would jack off to literally anybody else if that was the truth. He's picking ex's photos for a reason.
For sure. If it's porn, I think you could use like I've used porn as like a Kickstarter. We'll say.
And like,
and then
I'm
usually
someone that like I don't have an issue with people masturbating to porn in relationships personally.
Same.
It is where it crosses the line for me is like photos of old partners that you have saved, which is a violation regardless of if you're in a relationship. To do it in a relationship is even more of a violation. If it was just random porn, my only reaction here would be, you're a weirdo for having it saved.
On the computer.
That would be my only reaction.
Which
if it was
have,
random people, I'd be like, cool, go off. But who the boomer? Why do you have saved your computer?
Vibes.
Like that would,
vibes.
if it was people, if it was just porn stars, that would be my only reaction. The fact that it's exes is really fucking sus to me, and I don't like his reaction to you because I feel like you were a little gaslit. Oh, that like actually gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking if anybody did that to me.
Yeah.
Like if anybody that I had sent pictures to continued to look at them or had them saved after the fact, that would feel really bad.
Yeah, this is tough.
And also
he is jerking off to these people.
It's wrong. He did something wrong.
He did something wrong, for sure.
Objectively, this is wrong. It shouldn't have happened. And he's for sure lying about his intentions behind why he was doing that.
Yes.
However, it is your choice to choose whether or not you forgive these things within your relationship.
You wouldn't.
I personally wouldn't. If you can forgive that, then by all means, go ahead and do it. However, what I will say to you is that you need to stop beating yourself up and blaming yourself for
sure.
it.
I mean,
saying
that's a
it's
huge
such
part.
a stupid insecurity. Like I know this feeling and thoughts are deeply rooted in my own insecurities. You are taking responsibility for a very reasonable reaction you are having to his mistake. He did something bad. That is his fault. You're having a very normal reaction to that. You were allowed to have that, and that's allowed to be like his fault. It doesn't need to be your fault that you're reacting like this, or it's some bad on you. Anybody who is in a relationship with someone who you just caught them masturbating to their exes, I think most people are going to have a reaction of feeling not great about that.
The fact that he has a folder of all these women.
I don't like it at all. It's
incredibly
suspicious.
Love that at all.
And like, I get that you don't want to. I understand why this could also simultaneously trigger your own insecurities and like thoughts of comparison. That to me is like a sort of separate thing that is also a very understandable thing that would come up learning that your partner who you trust and think that you've built such an incredible thing with is really going outside of the bounds of what you've agreed upon in your relationship.
Yeah. I don't know. This is interesting. I prefer to jerk off to the person that I'm with. Like,
you would
that
think.
Is what, to me, if he took ownership of it and was like, yeah, I am jerking off to my exes and not, it's, I don't know. You said you have an hours long conversation. Maybe there's a natural progression to talking about how the patriarchy has affected both of you.
Yeah.
But if it's like, you did something bad and I respond, well, you know, the patriarchy's crushing me too.
Yeah.
It's like,
to me,
all right.
like the reaction should have just been,
he could play capitalism. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
completely.
Yeah.
Like this, I never should have done this. It's bad.
We need to
blank, done. Full stop.
We need to take ownership of it. And you say he's very emotionally intelligent. You would think someone who's very emotionally intelligent would have just been like, yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have this folder of. Yeah, that's wild.
And you're right in saying that the folder did have almost nothing to do with you. It's not a reflection of how attractive you are or anything like that.
Not at all.
It has 100% to do with him and his own problems. However, you are allowed to have your own reaction to that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like blame your insecurities for still feeling hurt about this.
This is not.
And still processing how you feel.
This isn't a situation where you're both in the wrong.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
There's one party in the wrong here, and it's not you.
I don't know. Is it fixable? Hopefully. That's up to him, I think. Is like, what's going on? Like, just be fucking honest about what's going on, and then we could figure this out. But if it's not.
Also, it's like only you can decide what is like a forgivable offense to you and what you actually feel you can work through and get to the other side of.
Like, I wonder if he's in contact with them. Like, to not be in contact with someone for years and to be jerking off to the pictures of them is really
deeply weird.
It's strange. I need to have a relationship with someone to be turned on to them enough to, like, I don't know. Like, for me, I need to, I don't know. Is that crazy?
And you said that he's trying so hard to mend things. You told him you don't want him to constantly reassure me that you have all the answers you needed and now you just need time to process it on your own. I think that you're right. You do have all the information you need. But from this point forward, I don't think it's a matter of forcing yourself to get over it if you don't want to get over it or can't get over it. If this isn't something you can get past, that's fine.
I agree.
This is a violation. If this is it for you, I don't think that you need to feel bad about that whatsoever. He shouldn't have done it.
It's weird.
And it's not superficial.
And then he lied.
Yeah.
What's superficial?
She said that I never thought that such superficial things would impact me so much after all the work.
It's not superficial. I see what she's saying, but
totally.
That's not, I don't think, what impacted.
Yeah. No. Take your time to process it and sit with it and how you feel, and like only you know what's going to be best, if it's something you want to work through or not. But if it turns out you don't want to work through it, that's fine too. You don't need to accept his behavior just because you're in a relationship.
He's got to let him go, bro. You got to let him go. You cannot hold on to these pictures, man. You got to let him go. I've let some masterpieces. I've let go. Some true masterpieces. And you got to let them go.
Yeah.
You can't hold on to them.
Yeah.
They can't be in a folder.
For sure, no.
Like, that's recently opened. Like, what are we?
To me, like, it's weird. Even doing that, making the choice to save nudes from your previous partners in a folder, making the choice to masturbate to them years after the fact, that to me is like you have to be like a certain level of fucked up that I'm not cool with to even your brain make those choices. Yeah. Yeah. It just seems like a major violation. I would really hate if someone did that to me. And I have thought about that. I have often in my adult life thought of like photos and things that I sent to people when I was younger.
And you hope that
I hope to God don't exist anymore. But I don't know. Or like photos and videos that people took of me that I never had access to.
That's another.
Those are the ones that I think about more than anything, because I never had those on my phone. I never sent them to anybody. Somebody just took them.
You need to. He should. Yeah, he needs to delete them, for sure.
I think he did delete them.
Yeah. Oh, he did. Right.
Kind of.
Too late. Yeah.
This shouldn't have happened in the first place. And it's not like, to me, it's not a little violation. This is a huge violation. But everybody has their own set of what is cool and what's not cool. I just hope that you're not beating yourself up for this. You're having a very reasonable reaction to a really strange and inconsiderate thing that your partner did.
I feel bad because this does feel like something you could work through, but maybe not.
I couldn't.
You couldn't?
Just because it feels like fundamentally to do that, we have something very not alike about us. To save other women's photos and to violate them in that way. Yeah.
Wow, it's embarrassing for you.
It's like you're violating so many women all at once. It's not just me. You did it to several women all at once. and then we're gonna blame patriarchy, you can go fuck
That's
yourself.
wild.
You can go actually fuck yourself for that.
I'm a victim of the patriarchy too.
I cannot.
That's wild, bro. Yeah, that's wild.
After Robbie leaves, I'm gonna drop into Love Island. So episode not over yet.
But thank you guys for. I like this podcast so much, and yeah, it was fun to come back on.
Completely.
Thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram, I guess,
Mhm.
at RobbieNunes.
Robbie and his podcast linked.
Yes, check out the podcast. The most recent episode we did was a lot of fun. Love is Embarrassing. August 10th and September 7th. Check it out.
Exciting.
And yeah, love you guys.
Love
the
it.
comments. Love the support. Love the community that you built.
And we love Robbie.
Yeah,
And
huge fan.
You'll
Very
absolutely
happy.
be back on the show.
Yeah,
Soon.
a lot of fun.
I hate to say this, and I am like so embarrassed and carry so much shame deep inside my core for saying what I'm about to say. But this is the first summer that I've ever been like, what's going on over in the U.S. villa? Like, I felt so deeply out of the loop because all of the fun memes and shit I see online are of Love Island U.S. And I'm like, please don't fucking make me watch that show. Please don't make me watch that show. Like, I don't want to watch Love Island US, but I fear I'm gonna fucking have to. Love Island UK producers, how could you do this to me? How could you flop like this? How could you flop like this in front of everyone? I've defended you. Okay, I've been in your fucking corner and you're gonna flop like this. Oh my God. Deeply unsettling and disturbing stuff, you guys. Me claiming that I might watch Love Island US. If I'm gonna watch it, I'll watch it in like the fall, because I think I need a break from Love Island after UK ends to just like breathe and have other hobbies. But in the fall, when I start to miss Love Island, maybe I'll watch US. My thing is like, this season of UK is not my least favorite of all time, but it is down there. I think I said it was my third least favorite. It's not the best season of Love Island they've ever done. And I'll tell you what the big problem they have here is. Because this season is packed full of drama, but a lot of it is painful to watch. And this is the problem that they have this season, is they have cast a super villain set of men. They have cast some of the worst men that have ever been on Love Island UK. I feel like I say this about someone every single year, but really, we haven't had a cast full of supervillains like this in a minute. Usually we don't get a cast full. Usually we get like a few of them, one or two that are supervillains. Okay, we got more than one or two. We got fucking a whole cast of supervillains on the men's side of things, with a few exceptions that are not supervillains, but the majority of them are supervillains. We've got a whole cast of men like that, and we've got a whole cast of women that refuse to stand up for themselves. That's why it's painful. That's why it's fucking painful. We needed some Maura Higgins and Ekin Sues, and we were not given them. I have witnessed so many women this season be done so fucking dirty and maybe initially seem to stand up for themselves, but then cave and go back to him. And also, absolutely fucking nobody is calling out their friends. Absolutely fucking nobody is looking at their friend saying, bitch, I love you to pieces. That man is garbage. That man is fucking garbage, and he will hurt you like hell if you go back to him with your goofy ass. Nobody has done that this season. Nobody's being real and honest and like giving the boys what it is they deserve. If you're going to bring supervillains in like that, you got to bring in some women that are ready to duke it out. Okay? And right now I'm watching Sweetie Pies be walked all over and accepting men that are like the dictionary definition of ain't shit over and over again. It's painful. It is painful. And like, I can't with like the illusion of standing up for yourself when like people will maybe argue with the boys and they'll have a fight with them and give the illusion of standing up for themselves, but you're still staying with that man and you're okaying the behavior, or you're buddy with him after the fact. Like, it's corny and I don't like it. I'm cool with hating every single fucking person on Love Island, but at least stand up for yourself. Like, I don't agree when people are like, this season's bad because everyone's unlikable. I don't need to like the cast members of Love Island. I for sure do not need to like them. However, when conflict is going on, I need a voice of reason. I need one person who's willing to like assess it the way the people at home were assessing it and call it out for how fucking insane it is or stand up for themselves. Like, Maura Higgins, icon. Same with Ekin-Su. And it was because they had no issue calling it like it was. More than Maura Higgins. That whole season 5 is so good for that exact reason. Because we've got like absurd. I wouldn't even say that season 5 has a ton of supervillains. They just have like the most fucking, like just the goofiest men ever in season 5. Paired with a bunch of women that will not fucking take shit from them. I love it. It is such a good fucking season. I can't this season, witnessing so many men behave like supervillains, do these women so dirty and have them crawl back to them every single fucking time. That is embarrassing. And it's hard to watch. So for that reason, not loving this season. Fine, I'll say it. Not loving this season either. No, that actually pisses me off though. All right, we're back in the villa. Post movie night. Nonsense is occurring. All of them are still fucking moving mad. We've got Will being like, I think I'm allowed to have my head turned. I'm sorry for the way that you feel. And being such a fucking dick loser about it. Here's the thing. When you fuck up so monumentally and it is on fucking camera, cannot be disputed. We caught your ass, bitch. Okay? We got the proof. We got the evidence. There are hundreds of cameras in this villa. Okay? And your gut reaction is to do anything besides put your hands up and say, my fucking bad, you fucked up. What are we doing? To be doubling down, being like, what? So I'm not allowed to have a fucking crush? Like, what do you want me to do? Sorry the way that you feel. Not my problem. Like, shut up. You are a supervillain. What is this? Do you not have any empathy for the girl you claim to have feelings for? You are fucked up. Uma. Oh my God. I need Uma. Uma, please. Oh my fucking God. Uma was the only person I had like genuine hope for. Because I feel like Uma will like sometimes stand up to the other boys or to the girls. But within her own situation, I'm like, mama, please, we cannot let him get away with this. And he is. He's getting away with this. Oh my God, it's so fucking painful. Sean is still trying to make Matilda feel like she did the equivalent of what he did. But it's like, it's not even close, babe. You needed to just put your hands up and apologize. Do you understand how much better you would have looked if you just swallowed your fucking pride? I can't. I cannot with these men. The answer is right in front of you. It is so obvious what you should be doing and you're not fucking doing it. Oh, okay. Then we've got 2 new boys enter the villa. We've got Ruben and Josh, and they take Mimi, Uma, and Jesse all out on a date. Is clearly into Uma, and Josh is very clearly into Mimi. This first date was so uncomfortable to watch to me. I think Ruben is so unsmooth. Like, he's just like not good at flirting. The same way that Sean is not good at flirting, Ruben is also not very good at flirting. Josh is a little bit more smooth, but I have beef with him for a different reason, which I'll say in a second. But Ruben is clearly very into Uma. Josh is clearly very into Mimi. Meanwhile, back at the villa, there's sort of like a wave of endings happening. Connor and Emma call it quits, which Connor does seem like such a sweetie and very normal. Hence why he hasn't been on camera at fucking all this season. Connor and Munveer are unproblematic kings of the season. Too bad. Too fucking bad. Because, yeah, him and Emma sort of call it quits. Grace is also kind of over Blade, saying they're lacking sexual chemistry and attraction there. So when the new people come back from their date, when Ruben and Josh fully enter the villa, they've actually got like sort of pick of the pack. Because a ton of things just ended right as they were entering, which was lucky for them considering it's post Casa, and people that enter at this point have like a much worse chance of actually finding a connection just simply based on the amount of time that's left in the villa. Then fast forward a little bit, Josh ends up pulling Mimi to the hideaway and is like really laying it on thick to her, which is interesting because this is now like the second man that is like, in my opinion, love bombed her. Like, I said the same thing about Io. I thought that he was really laying it on thick at the beginning, but she seemed to like it. So I was like, okay, maybe she's into that. Josh did what Io did times like 10. Josh was laying it on thick. Okay? To the point where I personally would have been put off by him. It was like profound love bombing that we witnessed because that man was in that villa for like mere hours, not even a full day. And he was like being very touchy-feely to Mimi, trying to make out with her, being like very, very full out, very all in. And it is like, damn, this is quick. But like Mimi liked it with Io, and it seems like she likes it with Josh. So maybe she just is into men that act like that. But I think I get a little put off when people are that passionately trying to make things physical that early on. That is a no for me. And it worries me for her, specifically knowing the situation that she has been in with Io and Jessica and Josh coming in late in the game. It almost comes off like he is trying to like really get in there and solidify his spot with Mimi quickly and to like escalate their relationship on a pace that's not quite normal. Because he is aware that he doesn't actually have that much time in the villa to like make that happen. I hate to say that, but that is what it comes off as to me. Just because it is absurdly quick, the pace with which he's trying to move. Then Ruben and Josh get to pick who they want to recouple with. Josh picks Mimi. And during his recoupling speech, he says something about how more than one girl caught his eye, which I thought was fucking diabolical to say in that speech after laying it on so thick with Mimi. If you are going to lay it on like that with Mimi, love bomb the shit out of her and make it out to seem like there's no one in this villa for you but her. You've come in for her. And then you hop up in front of every other person in this villa and say, oh, a couple people caught my eye. To me, that is rude and very weird. And I didn't like that after all else that Mimi has been through. If you're going to come in and be all about her and give her this whole dramatic spiel about how you are in it for her, then fucking be that. Because what are you doing? It just, again, it seems fake to me. It doesn't seem genuine. But I hope that's not true. Ruben is doing his speech about who he's going to couple up with, and Uma starts to cry, which I feel just so bad for the girl because this is not gonna end well for her. She's crying because she knows that Ruben is gonna pick her, which means that she is not gonna be coupled up with Will anymore. So that's exactly what happens. Ruben picks Uma, and then ding ding, text comes in. Will, you are no longer in a couple, therefore you have been dumped from the villa effective immediately. Uma immediately starts sobbing and is like, I'm going too. If he leaves, I'm going with him, which is painful. Painful given all that we just saw Will do to Uma. Yeah. And so Uma is going to go. The girls do like sort of a half-assed job at trying to convince her. Jess is trying to say to her, like, if you stay in the villa, then you'll be able to see what happens, and like when you leave, if this is real, if this is what you think it is, like he's still gonna be waiting for you whenever you get out of here, which I sort of get is like why that would be the strategy for her trying to get Uma to stay. But I really wanted someone to just be like, Uma, I'm gonna keep it real with you because I fucking love you, but that man is a demon, and how he treated you in Casa and just fucking 2 nights ago at movie night, the way that he spoke to you told you everything you need to know about him. I love that you're a lover girl and that you want to see the best in him, but my God, girl, stand the fuck up. Because this man is not it. It's not it. So anyways, nobody did that. It didn't land. Uma and Will left the villa. And then once they got out of the villa, they started posting up, Will's on his fucking Instagram story, posting the screenshot from the ending of The Hills, where it's like, and it was all a set, and it was all fake, and check that out. He's posting that screenshot on his story, tagging Umar, like, if you know, you know. Basically insinuating that anything crazy you saw him do on TV, actually, no, you didn't, because it was fake. Will, suck a fuck, my guy. The producers might set up things to happen. They might tell this person, okay, go have a chat with this person. They might summon things into existence. Will, you made those choices all by your big grown up self. Okay? Those were your big grown up choices that you made, and you cannot convince me otherwise. We know that the producers have some part in manipulating the show. Fucking obviously, that is the job of a producer. We're not stupid. However, to try to get up on Instagram and gaslight the shit out of us in saying, basically, without directly saying it, that you'll never know what's real and what's fake, so just believe it all was fake. Shut up. Shut up, Will. You're not getting away with this. You were a demon. And sorry, they just don't pay you enough. They don't pay you barely fucking anything to go on Love Island. You do not have enough incentive to ruin your entire reputation like that because someone told you to. So we're not buying it. Shut up. Get real. Over you. Over you. We're all over you. We all see through the act. Will, jail time challenge. Okay? I'm done. Uma needs to get out of there. And I hope to God she does. But Uma and Will gone from the villa. My God. Tragedy struck that night. It really did. Then the next day there was a public vote, which there were 3 at-risk boys and 3 at-risk girls. The boys at risk were Blade, Hugo, and Io, and the 3 girls at risk were Jessica, like Casa Jessica, Jess, and Emma. 2 boys and 2 girls are leaving. The public vote determined who those would be, which means that Blade and Hugo are dumped and Jess and Emma are also dumped. Then we have Lolly enter the villa, and she invites Joey to the hideaway for a little date, then Connor, then Kieran, which at this stage is a very weird move since Kieran and Nicole are like effectively in a relationship. And Kieran has made it so clear that he is not interested in anyone besides Nicole. I hate to defend a 21-year-old man like this because we all thought that Kieran was going to be the worst this season, and he is actually one of the best. He has been like so like to his word, and he has said that he is all in for Nicole, and he has shown over time that he has meant it. My thing about Nicole and Kieran is that it's not even that they're bad for each other. It's that Nicole is not ready for a relationship. And I'm not totally convinced that Kieran is either. I think that neither of them are like that equipped to be in a relationship. But especially Nicole has like so many insecurity and communication issues to work on before I feel that she would be equipped to be in a relationship with someone. But like, they're not even necessarily not compatible. Like, I think they do work well together, to be honest. I just think that she is not ready to be in a relationship. I think, yeah, it's painful. A lot of their fights just lead back to like insecurity and stuff that probably should not be an issue. Not saying that he's innocent, but yeah, I don't know. That's been my assessment on Nicole and Kieran at this stage of things. But while that Lolly invited Kieran to the hideaway, Joey comes out first. Obviously, his date with Lolly was first, and immediately moves to the boys first instead of going to talk to Jesse, which is just lame, knowing that Jesse was like a little rattled by the fact that Joey got picked. Also, Joey is so deeply untrustworthy, so it was like, why wouldn't you just go talk to her first? I don't know. I do not trust Joey Essex. I don't believe that anybody should. There is a recoupling that happens. Lolly picks Connor. Grace picks Ruben. And the rest of the recoupling goes exactly the way that you think it will. And Kieran actually officially asks Nicole to be his girlfriend during this recoupling. Then they do like a little game called Game Sex Match, where they're like asking questions and you have to get it in alignment with the other person in your couple. Anyways, here were the highlights. The question was, who would you couple up with if not in your couple? Grace says that she would couple up with Josh, and Joey is like, be real, love, and starts beefing with her in the middle of this challenge because Joey's like, if Grace was being honest, she would have wrote me. And at the same time, he's like, if Grace was being honest, you should have wrote me. He's like, but fuck Grace. I don't want anything to do with her. I'd have never liked her in my life. I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. Like, he's just being fucking mean to her for no reason. And it's confusing because, like, y'all were together. Can we not have respect for her? You liked her at one point. You guys were together at some point, and now he's dead set on being like, no feelings for Grace on my side of things, but Grace is literally obsessed with me. And Grace is like, what? Like, I've moved on. This is like done and dusted. What are you still hung up about? And he's like, she's literally obsessed with me. Joey Essex, get a grip challenge. Oh my God. And this just keeps going for the entire little thing. The question of like, what don't you like about your partner? And Jesse says that Joey doesn't like that she is friends with Grace. And they're like, oh my God, you're so fucking bothered. And Joey's like, I'm not bothered. Grace's feelings towards me are so strong, but I'm not fucking bothered. And Grace is like, literally, where are you getting this from? He is just like so self-involved. It's crazy. What couple won't last? Matilda says Joey and Jesse, and it all just kicks off again. Like it was a whole mess, and it's all about Joey and his ego, and it's just, God, he's the worst. He might be the worst person that's ever been on Love Island. Which I heard this past week. I'm like hearing things from people. I don't know the validity of any of this. This is just what I hear, what gets passed to me through the grapevine. Is at first, when I was learning about Joey Essex, everyone was like, oh, he's just like known for being a reality TV guy that doesn't have a lot of common knowledge. But then it was sort of amended to me earlier this week that he is sort of seen as being a lovable idiot, or was before this. So it's more than just like, oh, he's a reality TV guy that's kind of dumb. It's like he was the lovable idiot persona, which I wasn't aware of. The lovable part really changes this for me because I've heard that like the British perception of him is really changing because of Love Island this season, and that beforehand he was seen as being like a little bit more of a sweetie, lovable idiot than he is now. Now he's just a fucking bully and an idiot at the same time. This is really tragic for Joey Essex's image. Not that it was great in the first place, based on what I've heard. I knew nothing about this man 2 months ago. Then we've got Snog, Marry, Pie going on, which is always a mess, and the men never learn from previous seasons that you should always snog your own girl. Marry your best friend, pie whoever you have beef with. That is the acceptable way to do snog, marry, pie. But there's always somebody that chooses to marry their partner and then kiss some random girl instead, and it always causes some kind of beef. This year, it didn't cause beef in the way you would have expected it to, but Joey chooses, of course, fucking Joey. Joey chooses to snog Nicole, which is fucking crazy and insane considering that Nicole is now officially someone's girlfriend. Then he pies Matilda and has a go at Grace the whole entire time. He is just like a train wreck, that man. He is very crazy. Like, he's buck wild bananas. Josh kisses Grace after he says sorry to Mimi for what he was about to do, and I was like, is this guy fucking for real? Like, he came in and love bombed the shit out of Mimi, and then he's like, but Grace, like, maybe I should make him Grace. Like, it's lame. It is lame. It is deeply fucking lame. Io chooses to marry Mimi, which like I understand why, and Jessica is being very understanding of stuff like that, but it's also so fucking messy giving everything going on, and Josh is going to act all insecure about that even though he chose to kiss Grace. So Mimi chooses to kiss Io, which is also messy, and I'm like, I don't know why Mimi is continuing to be like flirty and even remotely interested in Io. But of course, Josh starts kicking off about this, and Mimi's like, shut up, you kissed Grace, which was like, yeah, that did happen. Then later in that night, Mimi pulls Joey to the side and is like, can you tell Io to meet me up on the terrace? And Mimi goes up to the terrace and is sitting on the floor of the terrace so that people can't see them, waiting for Io to come up and meet her. When Joey goes to get Io and is like, Mimi wants you to come up on the terrace, Io was like, that is not a good idea. I shouldn't do that. Like, you know what that's going to cause if people see me. And Joey's like really trying to, you know, get Io to go up there. And he's like, no, I'm not doing it. If she wants to talk with me, she can come talk to me on the daybeds, which I will give Io credit for once in his fucking life. Good call. I think that he made the right choice not going up there to the terrace, because it would have been very disrespectful to Jessica. And also I think it's what needs to happen. This needs to be done. Io is not right for Mimi. He did her fucking dirty, and I'm not fully buying her story on the whole thing, which comes up later on, but her story on the whole thing was that like she wasn't trying to make a move on him or anything, or like be sneaky in like a suspicious way. She just wanted their privacy because everybody always will like stare at them and be in their business if they're having this conversation just on the daybeds, which fine. But with all the flirting and the other things that were happening in the days leading up to that, given that it was right after Snog, Marry, Pie, I was like, I really thought that Mimi was going to try to like open things back up with him. And I feel like if he had gone to the terrace, it could have happened like that. I don't believe that it was all innocent, though, especially when she was sitting on the floor of the terrace intentionally trying to hide. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think that if he went up there, we might have seen something different go down. But this is kept as a secret for a few days before people figure out about all this. Then we get to the vibe party, in which we're introduced to two new bombshells, the last bombshells to enter the villa, Lola and Harry. And Lola seems to know Joey. What a surprise. Allegedly, they've never talked, but Joey's liked a bunch of her Instagram posts and stories, and he doesn't follow her. And he recognized her immediately, was like, I know you, but I don't know who you are. So clearly Joey was just thirsting after her on Instagram. Anyways, Maya Jama is here. The public have been voting for the most compatible couple. The most compatible couple is Nicole and Kieran. Since they are the most compatible couple, they have to choose between the three least compatible couples who should leave the villa tonight. The three least compatible couples are Lolly and Connor, Grace and Ruben, and Jess and Io. And Nicole and Kieran choose to dump Lolly and Connor from the villa. Then Harry and Lola have to pick who they want to couple up with. Lola and Joey have been getting a little flirty. That morning, Joey tells Lola that he's open and that he and Jesse haven't locked it off yet, and like his head could be turned. It's not impossible. It would be hard, but like if she's willing to put those Grafton boots on, who's to say? And Jesse's getting increasingly distrusting and mad at Joey. So Jesse's like so convinced that Lola is about to couple up with Joey and like she'll get dumped from the villa as a result. But Harry ends up picking Grace and Lola ends up picking Ruben. So that does not happen at this stage of things. Then they do like a little couple voting challenge. Like each couple has to vote for a different couple for a different rude superlatives. We've done this before. But this is the conversation where Joey's little secret mission gets brought up, and he sort of airs out the fact that he thought Mimi was being a little bit secretive and shady, which Joey is so messy for this. I don't even necessarily disagree here, because I also believe that there was like definitely some interesting moves being made in terms of that terrorist conversation. And it's good that it didn't happen. But Joey was just being a full-on shit stirrer here, trying to ruffle that up and get people all mad about something that didn't even end up actually happening, and that, got sort of squashed and moved to the past pretty quickly. So I don't know what the fuck that was about. Then Mimi and Josh end up going on a date, and Josh asks her to be exclusive, which is wild. We can all say it. The man's moving mad. He's moving quickly. He's trying to really expedite this process. And I have a hard time believing it's not because he's trying to ride Mimi all the way to that $50,000. I'll be honest. I think that's what he's doing. And I hate it. There is like a final recoupling that happens that night or the next day that basically just brings all the OG couples back together. Grace and Ruben couple back up, and it ends up putting Harry with Lola. So that's where we'll leave it for now. We've got the Grafties about to happen, so we'll talk about that next week. Next week will actually be the last time talking about Love Island. We'll talk about all the way to the finale. We are at the end of the season, so that's it. That's where we're at. That's how we've made it to where we are today. Jeez. So much to discuss. I'm so excited. Not that I'm excited to stop talking about Love Island, but I'm excited to, not record a 2.5 hour episode, because every time I've recorded a podcast for the last few weeks, it has been a 2.5 hour podcast. I'm looking at my time right now. 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 48 seconds I've been rolling as of right now. So there's just been a lot of talking that's been going on. This might be the last season I talk about Love Island on the podcast, because I just end up talking for so fucking long. Oy, oy, oy. One woman show gets thrown off course during a Love Island season when I do this, so this might be the last time I end up doing it, but we'll see. If you're mad about me saying that, let me know if that would really upset you. Maybe I'll change my mind. Anyways, maybe I'll watch Love Island US too. Who's to say? Who's to friggin' say what could go on in this place? All right? You'll just never know. I guess you'll have to tune in to hear next week's episode and see what happens and what goes down. I love you so much. I'll see you guys next week.